Make sure you have like save VOD on.
Yeah, I have a save VOD on. I tried it last time, so
Yeah, they told me he did.
all right. Okay, I just have like a random thing running. It's just background stuff for the moment until like I figure out a better setup.
Yeah, stream works.
I think we should like introduce ourselves now.
Yeah, we should because this is officially the first episode because the other one like was kind of a test one, I guess.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
yeah.
Yeah, which you didn't save.
Yeah. Look, my defense, the last time I streamed on another account, that option was ticked on by default. So that's why I didn't yeah, it's just
It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Excuses.
yeah,
Okay,
all
okay.
right.
So I will introduce myself first.
Mhm.
I'm your co-host. I'm Max. Follow me on Twitter. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I can go next. I guess I'm Mateba. I don't know. I'm just a Twitter account. Like, there's nothing real important here. Let's be real.
Yeah, formerly known as like Leninist Goose.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
then
though.
even
I had
before
that
that,
profile for a
yeah,
bit,
for a long time. That's when I
long
first saw you.
time.
Yeah, jeez, that feels like ages ago. And
Yeah,
me,
right.
yeah, oh god, me. I mean, I guess I'm Constance. I guess like I'm kind of a shit poster. Like I used to be like a bit more serious sometimes. I would tier repost, but now, well, I'm trying to get back into it. But I mean,
I think the only like serious theory posting I do is just whenever I I live tweet my attempted like reading of Capital, which
yeah.
you know that's not too good, but whatever.
Did any of
It's coming
you
along.
guys read Hegel? I want to know.
Oh no, God no.
No, no, not yet.
I guess
I,
we don't really live up to the name.
No, we've already
no, it's for the pun.
we've flunked
Like
the name.
it's for the pun. So
Yeah,
I,
true, true.
but I mean,
One of these, maybe once I get through Capital and like all the other like 1,700 books on my list, I'll sit down and read Hegel's Logic or some shit. But I don't really think it's my top priority.
that's actually fun. There was like a little discourse, I think like a day ago or two, where people were just kind of riffing on the idea that you don't need to like read Hegel to understand Capital because I mean, why would Marx have Capital serialized like by bits for French workers if like it
Oh yeah,
required?
no.
Yeah,
I've
eh,
actually been reading, what is it? Marx's Inferno or whatever, which is
mm,
that book, and its
yeah,
whole emphasis is capital is like political theory. This entire idea that it's not like a work of political economy where you sit and it builds like on this sort of I'm trying to articulate the point here, but it's not like this economic like impenetrable work or whatever. It's supposed to be engaged with the actual working class struggle, and all the different influences of
Yeah,
Marx's
out of all
time and
of
all
like
that.
the works I have read, I think Marx writes with the most clarity in Capital. Like, I think Marx is the most clear writer, like most clear Marxist I've ever read, especially in Capital. I don't think you need to read Hegel to read Capital. That's my opinion, I guess.
hmm
Yeah, I think it all comes from that one Lenin quote or whatever, where he's like,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Lenin said something along the lines of, "You can't fully understand capital unless you read Hegel's logic because it's the dialectical method and
Understand
all that."
Hegel's
But I
logic, I
just
think. Yeah.
yeah, I understand Hegel's logic.
Oh, that's funny though. I think Max, he posted about the review of Matic about Marxism and freedom, where he rags on that quote, where he's like I could. Do we want to pull it up? Actually, yeah, sure, sure. I'm gonna read that little bit. Oh God. So it's a review of Marxism and freedom. Okay, there's like a little quote here, exactly about that. Wait, let me find it.
Yeah,
It's
the Lenin quote was aphorism. It is impossible fully to grasp Marx's Capital, especially its first chapter, if you have not studied and fully understood the whole of Hegel's logic.
okay. I've got it. I've got it.
Consequently,
Yeah.
none of the Marxists of the past half century have understood Marx with two explanation points, which how you can tell it's Lenin.
Okay, wait, so I'm gonna read the bit. So this is like a review by Maddox. Of course, like it's a polemic, but I think it was kind of funny. Okay, so quote. The most astonishing part of oh my god, I can't pronounce that name. Dunevskaya's book, however,
Nevskaya.
Dunevskaya's book,
Spherical.
is her treatment of Lenin. Quote, confronted with the appearance of counter-revolution, in brackets the Second International, within the revolutionary movement, she says, Lenin was driven to search for a philosophy that could restore his own reason. And, quote again, as soon as Lenin opened the science of logic, he grasped the importance of dialectics. End quote. He came to the conclusion, as he himself stated, that, quote, it is impossible completely to grasp Marxist capital if you have not studied through and understood the whole of Hegel's logic, end quote. Consequently, Lenin added, quote, none of the Marxists for the past half century have understood Marx, end quote. It was a good thing that Lenin opened Hegel's logic. If he had not, there would not have been a true Marxist for a whole century, until the day, that is, that Dunevskaya herself opened the logic. That's
I thought this was very funny.
Yeah, Maddox's good. I need to read more Maddox.
He's very good. Like, it's quite biting too.
Yeah. His stuff is his writing is tough though. He doesn't take you for an idiot. He really respects your intelligence, but I think you can still grasp him.
Yeah. All right. So okay. Wait. So that was a bit of an introduction. So we were talking. Oh, right. So
Yeah.
we went
Speaking
on.
of Marx's Capital, we should take a look at a review of Capital, at a summary of
Before
Capital.
that, I'm just gonna conclude.
Should we give like context behind the review summary thing?
Yeah.
So
wait,
there's this YouTuber.
I want to say something like to finish on the Hegel stuff, because funnily enough, I think there was like a thread where Heinrich was having a speaking thing going on, and he said explicitly that, like, you don't need to read Hegel to like understand capital, but it's good to like understand Hegel after the fact to better grasp the structure of capital, especially the first 3 to 5 chapters. So that's that. All right. So yeah, now we have our good buddy SDL.
Yeah, saying SDL. Let's go.
So to start with this summary, we have to have some context first.
Yes.
SDL admitted that he has never read Volume 2 or Volume 3 of Capital. And guess what? This summary includes includes bits of Volume 2 and Volume 3
I
that
feel
he
like
has
more
never
than
read,
half of
and
it
they
is
are
like
all wrong. They are all miserably wrong. I've never read anything more miserable in my life.
like I feel like more. I haven't like done a breakdown like Max has quite, but like I read over this and I feel like past like what is it, section 4, it's all just volume 3 shit. And I can particularly tell why, because this document came out of SDL's like I'm not it's not leaked because he posted it himself, but it came out of this research document or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, it was basically a bunch of these different studies which were based on different Twitter discourses. Like he had stuff on like the Branch Davidian case or whatever. That was a big thing on Twitter for a week or whatever. So he had a whole section on that. And you can tell that this sort of mentality kind of bleeds into his capital summary, because he basically has this entire section on the falling rate of profit, skipping like an entire volume of Capital, most of volume 1, 2, to get to the falling rate of profit, because he got mad that somebody brought it up to him once on Twitter.
Which
his the whole, I mean, to look at how this is insanely structured. He starts with commodities. That's the first section. The second section is immediately profit. He does not even introduce surplus value. To give some context to how insane this is, Marx only starts talking about profit in volume 3 of Capital, and commodities is chapter 1 of volume 1 of Capital. Can you
the very first
imagine
thing,
this insane leap?
Which funnily
From profit to commodities.
Which, funnily enough, if I remember correctly, there's like one of I think the PSL guide to like economics or something. Like I don't remember what. Like there's like basically no mentions of commodities. So I guess there's like a little less unity going on there.
Wait, what is this? The PSL?
Yeah,
Like
apparently.
Party for Socialism and
Yeah.
Liberation?
Yeah.
Yeah, considering their politics, yeah, I'm not surprised they kind of skipped over the commodity section.
Which, like, funny thing to mention about PSL, they used to be a trot group.
Yeah,
Before
I don't know what they are these days.
Oh, it's
honestly,
like, yeah, I don't. I mean,
it's this sort of vague Marxist socialism type of thing, but not really. Like they kind of dance around it.
basically,
It's a strange thing.
I guess they want to be like CP USA, but like maybe a bit less federal agents, I guess.
Okay, yeah, except I think PSL is just as much federal agent.
Yeah, actually, I would bet they might be a bit more federal agents in PSL than the CPUSA. Maybe. Okay, let's not speculate too much on that.
Yeah.
All right. So, what the funniest thing that I saw about the very first thing, right, is that it seems that SDL, like, he he didn't even read the header for a section where it says like
Yeah.
that, like the commodity is
A
like
commodity is a use value and a
So
value.
yeah. So the first, without like formally getting into it, the first subsection is commodities, right? And I just want to read from you first Marx's words, and then I'll just read off what SDL says, just the first 3 sentences. So, Marx, you open up Capital, Chapter 1, the commodity. Section 1, the 2 factors of the commodity, use value and value, substance of value and magnitude of value. All right, that's just the title.
Yep.
It kind of gives away the whole game.
Pretty
You know,
clear.
he kind of, yeah, he lays it out. Commodity, it's a use value and a value, which is the substance and the magnitude. All right? Socialism done left. A commodity is anything that has 2 qualities. 1, exchange value, which is the ability to be exchanged with another person. And 2, use value, the ability to be used for some purpose. So you can kind of see where it goes wrong, like, or they go wrong just like immediately.
I can already, like, if I remember correctly, like what Marx like means by use value, like he specifically doesn't he say like it doesn't, like there's no, oh, how would I say this, like a use value is kind of like
I know what you're talking about. He
it's
says so in
historically
section
like
3.
contingent almost, because like I think he has like a footnote on
Yeah.
magnets where like a magnet wouldn't have much of a use value until like we discovered a proper use for it. So
Well, yeah, that's the whole concept of value of, being historically and, relevant, like tingent, yeah, or whatever. I think you said it already.
Yeah, historically contingent.
That's the word.
Yeah. So the thing with this is there is a particular section and a particular quote where Marx says, when we said a commodity is use value and exchange value, we were in effect speaking wrong. A commodity is a use value and a value. Well, the reason he says a commodity is a use value and a value is for a very particular reason. Think, for example, of land, right? Land is not an object of human labor, but it has exchange value. It doesn't have a value, but it has exchange value. But land is not a commodity because it's not an object of human labor. So to define a commodity properly, you have to say a commodity is a use value and a value, because value implies that it's a product of human labor.
Yep, exactly. So I don't know like how bad it actually gets, because I think you two are the ones that really poured over everything he said.
I think it's mostly Max. I've kind of read over it, but I can continue reading through it if you want, and Max can kind of interject.
Yeah.
So yeah, just he defines exchange value and use value. So the use value is the ability to be used for some purpose. All right. So he continues, if you exchange a commodity, you cannot use it. And in brackets, use value equals 0 for you, period. Some commodities may, a use value of 0. It's 0. Yeah, come on.
I mean, doesn't Marx literally say use value cannot be quantifiable?
It can't. No, that
Yeah,
was
it
one of
literally
my
can't because
another a friend in another Discord was poring over it too, and he was like, "All right, hold on. First thing can't be quantified."
I mean, the thing is, isn't like wait, again, I'm like it seems like the first chapter there's a lot of quali- qua- qualitative
Qualitative,
into
quantitative. Yeah,
a lot of that going on in different like forms, which makes it like really strange.
yeah. You have to read over it a few different times.
My guess is that he watched like a YouTube video and he wrote a summary of that YouTube video, not actually read the chapter. Because these mistakes are really puny. They're really, you wouldn't expect anyone to make them.
Yeah, it's something that like you can tell if we're taking, SDL at his face, their face, sorry, that they presumably actually did read parts of DOS. um, you know,
Big warning sign
if
right
we
there. If
that's
anybody
yeah,
goes like,
if
yeah,
if anyone ever says parts of DOS or just DOS, you can immediately tell they have not read shit.
There's also the bit where I think it was during Max's debate with SDL. They
30
said,
to 40 Marx quotes.
yeah, I remember that one. That was like
And
that is not how it goes.
there's also a fun bit in Max's debate where SDL tries to say that multiple warning flags in here. Quote, or beginning quote, Marx's labor theory of value says that each commodity has an objective value.
Yeah.
End quote.
Which is really funny since value cannot be objective. I mean,
It
for
can't.
value to exist,
It's
a
the
commodity must
entire
be a
basis.
use.
Like
Yeah,
what's the actual word that's used like in the first chapter? It's like spectral. Like I think there's like the differences in
Yeah.
translation. I think like there's gonna be a Heinrich inspired translation of Capital that's gonna come out, and like I think they're very fixated on like a couple of words like that because of the
Yeah.
substantialist reading or whatever.
substantialist reading of Marx, yeah.
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 But like it's when you like I've read like that section. I've taken like notes, like really just like kind of fried my brain over it. Probably demotivated me a bit. And when I got to like the part where oh god, I can't even remember. Like the part where he gets like really weird. He's just very insistent on repeating the same thing about like the two like sides of the equation.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
is it?
Section
The
3?
relative and the I think it's
Relative and
the
Equivalent.
equivalent. Yeah.
relevant and
Yeah.
equivalent. Yeah, that tripped me up when I was first reading Capital
Yeah.
because I was just like, I thought this was going to be like a really important thing. So I sat there and like poured over. Okay, relevant is when it's the first, and equivalent is it's it's basically a bridge into the general form of value or whatever, which is in the money form.
Yeah. But isn't like
But
if I remember like this is I think this is a Kleiman like paper I read once like a bit ago
yeah,
where he just insists like the point of that is like the third thing for like that equate
yes, yeah, the third
there has to be a third thing.
The,
Right?
the best way I explain Marx's value theory to people, at least so far, because I mean, this is just usually me shooting the shit with people on Discord, is you have two commodities, or I guess you have two goods or whatever. I try to use goods to avoid, telling them, and you want to exchange the two. How do you do it? How do you equate them? Because a chair is pretty, or what's the example he uses? Linen is pretty different than a coat.
Mhm.
These are two different things. These use values, they can't be, equal or whatever. So what allows these two commodities to be equalize? I don't know what the proper term is,
Well, it's
but have a
it's the act of
e- e-
like just getting rid of like well not rid but just there's a heterogeneous thing going on with the labor where like there you can't just on that level you can't just go in there like just say that okay the labor that went to that chair is so different from the labor that's going to go into like making wool, but you need to find a common ground, and so that's when at you have to abstract the labor, so it's just homogenized,
Yes,
and it's just like
yeah,
uniform.
make
what
the
what
labor
he
homogeneous.
says, his exact phrasing or whatever, which I always loved, was both are therefore equal to a third thing, which is itself neither one nor the other. Each so far as exchange value must be reducible to this third thing. Which I don't know. I just when I was first reading Marx or whatever, I always found him just sort of saying, it's the third thing, kind of charming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Which
I mean, that's
Which was the name of the paper, the climate paper I read, where it was just
the
basically
third
that.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, where were we?
Yeah, we were in
Anyways, let's continue. I think we should move to section 2.
section.
Alright.
Yeah, the profit
Alright.
section. All right. Yeah.
Oh
That's
my.
kind of where my stint ends because I'm again not that far in capital.
Me neither. That's your ballpark, Max, but might be able
Yeah, I'll
to.
provide commentary or
Okay,
whatever.
so the
But
problem with this is that Marx gives us a very certain equation, which includes so he mistakes profit here with surplus value, which is not the same thing as profit, because profit includes ground rent, includes the profit you can make from interest, etc. I will send you the
Wait, you can
Max, you're
send.
muted.
Yeah, wait.
All right, you might be away for a second.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I'm looking over this paper again and again. I can't. I'm just gonna.
I sent it in the moderator channel. You can
All
see
right.
it.
Yeah.
Moderate. Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. It's just a quote from, and it says, "This has no bearing on the level of the general rate of profit because for the latter, profit equals interest plus profit of all kinds plus ground rent."
Yes, so profit does not only come from labor because all value comes from labor. This is just wrong. This is mistaking profit for surplus value.
Yeah.
Marx sees as two different things.
Obviously. Which I think I feel that's like a very that's not like just an SDL thing. It's just a very common mistake, right? Because like I obviously like not many people are gonna dive into volume 2 or 3. So what it
Yeah,
feels
it's
like.
a common mistake. Even Heinrich talks about this in all of his lectures. He says, "Oh, you see, like Marx says that that capital can exist within circulation, but apart from it, you need to read volume 2. Marx only introduces very important concepts such as interest and profit in volume 3. So you really need to read volume 3 to understand actually what Marx is talking about. But most people don't really read volume 2 and 3, so they make this mistake of mistaking surplus value with profit."
There's an interesting message in the chat I just wanted to point out. He says, or they say, critique of the Gotha program, and just says that value comes from nature too. And I kind of pointed out that, at least from what I remember, he was specifically referring to wealth and not
Which is an
value.
allocation of use value, not value.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Exactly.
wealth is different. That which is, yeah, as he said,
It's very
is
specific.
value,
I remember
or use value.
a Twitter thing from like probably I think even like 2 years ago where that word was contentious and people had to
Yeah,
make sure people
critique of the Gotha program is honestly, I like the piece, but it is easily one of the most used and abused Marxist text ever because it's a lot of information, a small, dense package.
you need to know
So I
what to
mean,
look for.
yeah, exactly. And like I've used it seen by like Stalinists and like Dengists of like all different well, see, this shows that they're still calculating value under socialism, which is like I don't know how you read that and
Yeah, to
get that
explain this, by the way, do you think that when Marx says that society will operate on the same principle that governs the exchange of commodities, they think that he's saying
they
that
think it just
exchange
means
will exist
value.
under socialism, which it won't. What he's saying is that distribution will happen according to the same principle that governs the exchange of commodities, that is socially necessary labor time. That distribution will happen according to labor time. That's
Yeah,
the point
exactly.
of the quote.
Yeah, and it's a good text, but it's one of those ones which you have to it gets used as an introduction to Marxism a lot. And while I do like its section where Marx sort of lays out this purview of labor vouchers and how it's not exchange if it's all held in common, that sort of thing. I like that part, but it's just one of those things where it's
Actually,
it's
my favorite part
well,
is where I switched a bit on like what my favorite part of Gotha is. I think my favorite part is when like um what is it? Oh, there's like the co-op part where he's quite explicit in saying like, like if it's like if you're using like the state to like fund your co-op or whatever, like that's fucking useless. Like
yeah,
a
it's
co-op
still
like literally needs to be the initiative of the workers by themselves if it's going to be like anything worthwhile. Else, like
yeah,
what?
Gotha.
And then the other thing where there's like a little bit of a section is where how to say this? It kind of comes off that Marx wants people to like their education to have like labor like integrated into it, like work or labor or something. And
Yeah,
I've been someone's explained that to me as meaning that well, he wants workers to like get skills,
yeah.
skills
Well,
that
I
can
mean,
like help them like become like self-sufficient. And
so that's the way I kind of took it. Was I always viewed it as we view communism obviously as lots of things, but particularly one of the things is the abolition of the division of labor. And specifically, if you're integrating labor training and sort of this trade element into primary education, it primes, um, the citizens of this hypothetical socialist republic or whatever, um, to be able to engage in varieties of different acts of labor and that sort of thing. So I always kind of got that
hmm,
from that, at least.
yeah, and it just really shows that this how to say this this thing where just it's this complicated history, but well, like it just is very clear once like you know this and you read Gaffa and you kind of like see his like political like journey, like he especially after the commune, it's very clear that he wants people to just learn to be independent from the state. It's very clear.
Yeah,
Now,
true.
To an extent, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
to an extent, like of
Yeah,
course
yeah. Like
it's
I don't agree with the sort of the people who like well, after the commune, Marx was actually a higher level social anarchist, or that sort of shit.
no,
Like
oh, you're telling me he was Althusserian?
yeah, that quote is gonna haunt me. Just that
Man, he said this like a month before killing his
But
wife. Give him a
5 months
break.
before killing his wife, he's like had multiple depressive episodes. He's like down and out constantly, and they got him on a TV interview, and he says, I think what was the exact line? It was some shit about how like,
Oh,
oh
that
yeah,
like Marx was like
hold
really
on,
shitty to Bakunin, and like
yeah.
Bakunin like
So yeah,
was
he
a
he
little
goes,
crazy, but then like everybody's like a little crazy, and it's like I'm
yeah,
a little crazy. And then,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so,
uh,
so the quotes were, yeah, I'm an anarchist, I'm a social anarchist because I'm beyond communism, and it's a dramatic history, blah blah blah. How can you violate people like this and have no respect for them, like Marx did to Bakunin? Bakunin was a little crazy, but this doesn't mean anything. We have granny crazy people everywhere. I am also crazy.
And then he goes and to kill his wife. Very.
Yeah, look.
well, I'm well, yeah, he killed his wife, but I don't know. I've heard like people say that like I think the coroner said that it would have been like physically impossible for Althusser to like kill his wife unless the wife just let him, which
Look,
oof.
this is an Althusser Truther podcast. He did nothing wrong. He It was the
I
wife's
agree. He
fault,
the
did
damn it.
nothing wrong.
the only anarchist I will stand like 100%, no reservations.
Look, nothing wrong. Look, you don't read On the Reproduction of Capitalism and think that man killed his wife. And if you did, then you are based. All right. Next point. um
Right.
so
Right.
yeah,
And
we
we're
were talking
talking.
about Gotha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I always liked you can tell that like he's clarifying the difference between, he's obviously not an anarchist, but he's clarifying the difference between state socialists, sort of like LaSalle,
Oh,
and
that's like the context. Actually, it's really funny. If I remember correctly,
yeah,
the reason like Gotha didn't come out by the point it was written. It was like it
was a private
was
letter,
kept down
wasn't it?
low because like Marx didn't want to just scuttle like any attempts for the party to form, so he just kept quiet.
Yeah.
And it was only later
He-
that it was released.
I thought
Right.
it was like kept quiet and sort of sent to
Yeah, it was sent to other
the
people.
Lassallians or whatever.
I'm not sure it was sent to the Lassallians. I'm not sure.
Was it,
I think it was.
I don't know. I don't know the. Don't
It
quote
was
me on
sent to
that.
Leibniz, if I remember correctly.
I don't know, but I
Yeah.
know like it's a long history. It's like the how that text finally came out.
Yeah, yeah. It was wasn't it like published later by Engels?
Yeah, Engels, and then there was there was also like the SPD stuff, but also there's some really funny shit going on with like the SPD publishing certain things by Marx, where they would like
Mhm.
alter some. I think they altered the preface to what is it? I think was the preface to Civil War in France or Class Struggles by Engels, where they sort of like actually edited it to take out the insurrectionary part and just kind of made it sound more as like, well, in line with our politics, where it's just like we're just gonna take
Revisionist, yeah.
we're gonna do parliamentary road to socialism.
Which it's nothing about, Yeah, I mean, what I was gonna bring up is that the
Anyways,
entire bit.
we can go back to the summary now.
Yeah, let's
go,
pivot
let's
back
go,
to the
yeah.
summary, whatever.
I want you guys to read the name of the third section and tell me what you think.
All right, send it.
Okay, I knew this was gonna. As soon as I read this, I knew this was gonna be a point of contention. I knew there's gonna be 2 points, which is one, the title, which is Marxian Economics TLDR.
Ooh.
And
The subtitle is a critique of political
blah, blah, blah.
economy.
Well, yeah, whatever, Heinrich. All right. So, section 3, after his profit section, section 3, labor theory of price.
Isn't that a Scheich thing? A Scheich cockshot thing? Labor.
Yeah, it's.
Well, at
You
least
can tell he's a cockshot guy.
another one like the mouthy
made-
infidel.
Mouthy Infidel is a cockshot guy, and I'm pretty sure SDL was too. Somebody posted
he
like
has
a
like
meme.
he has I think in the Cordelia debate she talked about how on his website he gives special thanks to cockshots for inspiring him.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, that's why the Discord messages were so like edgy and
That's
shit.
why
He's a base cockshotian. He's just like, well, yeah. Oh, but that also explains why he asked Mask. Well, I don't remember if they use like the gender neutral pronouns, like any all pronouns. I never know.
I think they're any all, but I try and do they them, but I slip up a bit. So apologies on my end, but
yeah. So in that debate with
Okay,
Max,
so what do you guys think of the labor theory of price?
See, it's like a 2-line thing, which is just he writes section 3, labor theory of price, Marx's labor theory of value, which he changes it up already. But the labor theory of price, Marx's labor theory of value, which he just puts in brackets MLTV, asserts that the price of production of a commodity will tend towards its average labor input. Yeah, he's just doing cockshot. He's doing like laws of chaos shit. Like they're
This
about
is not
to start.
cockshot, by the way. I think the confusion. Cockshot does not believe in prices of production. He believes that price is equal to labor.
Yeah,
prices
of
like
labor
is like.
It's Scheich then, right?
It's neither. It's his own thing.
His own.
Yes. he's his own revisionist.
This is new advances in revisionism.
Yes, so like Scheich and Cockshot believe that labor is equal to price. This guy thinks prices of production is equal to labor, which is equal to price, which is wrong.
Well, oh god, that's even worse.
God. Yeah.
Oh no, this isn't. I can kind of. I have a soft spot in my heart for the cockshot shit. I'll admit that, mostly because of I don't know. Laws of Chaos is a good book, but like, come on, man. like, what is this?
If I remember the cockshot Scheich stuff, they say like value is equal. No, it's not value equal to price, but there's something about like it like almost like they did like statistical studies that they say that it converges like nearly
value
like
explains 95% of price.
Yeah.
It's the 93% thing.
I know Kleiman was very pissed about that.
Oh god, there's an entire section of I've been kind of going back and forth between Kleiman's and Heinrich's Capital books, and there's an entire section of the end of Kleiman's book where he just goes, "This isn't what value means." He's just like raging. Like you can feel his like just pure rage throughout the pages.
The ogre we deserve, the true ogre.
The ogre.
In that sense, he's a true inheritor of Marx. Whether he's
Oh yeah,
through
no, he's a
theoretical,
mess, and that means he's perfect for being a Marxist.
exactly, including some apparently there was some heated moments in some forums or blog posts where he might have sent some death threats or something, which
Kleiman, no.
I mean, like literally, like everybody knows that he's kind of an asshole.
Oh
Like,
no,
literally,
he's a prick.
everybody, even people who like him, are like, yeah, he's kind of an
No,
asshole.
I'm kind of, again, I'm trying to be indifferent with the whole value form shit because I have a bad tendency of talking on shit I have no clue about. Max can testify on that. But
Yeah, true.
yeah. But you can listen to, was it Kleiman did a debate with Andrew Murray, who is the co-constituent value form theory guy, and you can almost tell. Well, first of all, he does 2 episodes beforehand where he basically like he like goes through Murray's paper and he's like, God, and he spends like the first 15 minutes of the episode going, God, these value formers, they never reply to me, they never want to talk to me.
Oh my god, it's gonna be.
It's the funniest thing ever.
Oh my!
It's
You don't know. I cannot wait for Science of Value to be out. I really can't wait because that means we're gonna get Cockshot. We're gonna get the
paper.
sausage fest of the century. We're gonna have some
getting the game back
heated
together.
moments. Imagine if Kleiman gets a Twitter account.
Cockshot and Kleiman will do a collaboration episode.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. That would be like, again, left unity moment. I'm for it. And anything. Look, I might be a communist, but I believe in intellectual competition. All right. I think it's always good sport.
I think that's good. I mean, honestly, I think I told Constance this once on Twitter, but the one thing I want is just 2 hours, lock Kleiman, lock Heinrich in a room, video camera, recording, and just have them talk it out. And just, I would place a 50-50 bet.
We're gonna
that,
need some
like,
bouncers.
there's gonna be a chance like somebody's bleeding by the end of it. At least, I mean, I feel like Kleiman would not hold up too well when it comes to that.
Oh. All right, so imagination aside, okay, so we were at, all right, so SDL is this whole like weird innovation theory that's not even like
read the quote I sent in the moderator one.
Yeah, okay.
I think this
Okay,
just goes proves that his
okay, that's
understanding is
a
wrong.
Marx quote. All right. Quote, the exchange of commodities at their values or approximatively at their values thus requires a much lower stage than their exchange at their prices of production, which requires a definite level of capitalist development. Apart from the domination of prices and price movement by the law of value, it is quite appropriate to regard the values of commodities as not only theoretically but also historically antecedent prior to the prices of production. End quote.
So he's essentially saying that value has nothing to do with prices of production, and as we know, value is abstract human labor. Mm-hmm. So the claim that prices of production is equal to labor, which is equal to prices, is false.
Yeah, but there's, in Marx, it seems that there's so many like layers to it. Just one thing like follows the other. But what happens when people try to like get into Marx, like into this stuff, is they don't realize there's always like, sometimes they just skip over certain steps of what he's talking about, and they just like make it into a whole blob where like everything like equates, or we just jump to one thing or the other, and it's like, okay, I guess everything's just gonna stick somehow, and
it's because they don't, when
it's Wikipedia brain. It's Wikipedia, yes. and
when these people approach Marxist capital, they don't approach it with, okay, I'm going to learn this from step 1, and keep going up and up and up, or down into the again, I've been reading that Inferno book, into the social hell of capitalism or whatever.
Oh, the social is complete. the social is completely excised from all these debate streamers. Well, no, there is lip service to the social, but it's completely like abstract social, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, and
please go
it's
vote for Joe Biden because like I guess it might I don't I
he's
the
gonna
thing.
abolish the value form.
Oh yeah, it's that tweet. Yeah, it's just gonna file we're gonna get like an increase into the Democratic Party. So it's gonna
Yeah.
slide a bill in the Congress. It's abolish value fund. Where when that passes, it's
Yeah,
fucking
I'm
over.
a heterodox Kautskyist or whatever. We're going to vote the value form away.
that needs to become a bit. That needs to become a bit where the I th- I'm gonna go pitch that to that's a piece we should do. Right.
I'm gonna go write for Cosmonaut.
Exactly. I was gonna say. Look. Yeah.
I'm gonna write an entire column or whatever. We need to vote for another AOC or whatever, which I don't even think that's his position, but we need to vote for
his Donnie. No. Like I have.
We need to
Oh.
hijack the DSA.
Well,
Yeah.
that seems
Yeah.
to be their plan. Well, not their
I
plan.
guess
Like
so. I don't know.
the plan of
My
like
view, my
yeah.
whole view of like parties in America right now is just like kind of go with what you have around you. If you have like a perfect like left comm or whatever you believe in party, then sure you should interact with that. But I get like, especially when there are genuinely certain like there are like Marxist sects of the DSA or whatever, like genuinely like
Well, it's very localized. That's like
it's very so the big problem of the DSA is it follows this extremely chaotic like decentralized like structure. So basically each chat, you get things like fucking
I mean,
you
there
get
are
shit like the
communizers. There are like
social
communizers.
ecologist DSA
Mhm.
people or whatever, and you get like
we like literally
the
everyone.
Bookchinites. Yeah. If you ever for anyone listening in, if you want something to fucking just make you cringe to death, I want you to go up to your search bar, new tab, DSA Rojava video.
Oh my god. Eesh.
And it's just the worst people you can
I have
imagine.
nothing. I don't know anything about this.
It's
Count yourself lucky, Max, to hear this. That's yeah.
yeah. DSA was like so Democratic Socialism America was like an organization which was started by a guy named Michael Harrington, which was like basically just like a social democrat with a cult following.
And like a Cold War warrior, if I remember. Like I think it was for the Iraq War, and like no,
Yeah.
not the Iraq War, the Vietnam War.
Vietnam, yeah, he was against that.
It's like
He wrote a book called The Other America, which is about poverty in America, and that's where he got his following. And from there, the org's kind of taken off because of Bernie shit, Bernie 2016 and Occupy and all of those sorts of new social movements, and it's gained membership. And it's just basically this weird zombie org, which is kind of founded on this social democratic order. But because it's so like, there's no party line or anything, it is basically a bunch of different sects of like, there's the anarchist sects in these different towns, and there's Marxist ones in like California or whatever, just different shit like that. It's a mess.
I mean, isn't it like literally just they're saying, I'm never like secure in using like the usual terms like adventurism, opportunism, or like that stuff. But
Yeah,
I'm fairly sure the DSA is quite literally like tailist. It's tailism.
Yeah.
You're just tailing the Democratic Party, and you're sort of just
No, it is tailsism perfectly defined because its entire existence is basically following whatever. Like after Occupy, that became its whole thing. After the Bernie campaign, it became like, well, who are we going to run for Congress next under the Democrats? It's a sort of
which is to say, like, so that's like the situation. So like that's a context for like the base streamers and like SDL and all that. That's what,
yeah, they're operating. So, oh god, I've completely lost the point I wanted to make, but it was about capital. They don't go into it, learning from the bottom up, from commodities to all the way at the back with accumulative accumulation. Jesus Christ,
they have a bourgeois conception of class. They have a bourgeois conception of class because that's what Bernie like as like. Just,
It is entirely based around this idea of like lived experience or whatever. It's this idea of like, well, class is the thing where you have money, you know, and what about Marx? Marx has a labor theory of value. You know, that's
Yeah,
just what he has. And that labor theory of value says that value is labor. And it's just like that sort of gets ingrained in your head or whatever.
and then
Which when you actually
there's the other layer where then okay, there's that, but then you have to factor in like the SDL stuff is sort of just it's like a layer removed from that, so it's even more like I guess bourgeois. Like it's just like it's just so weird. Anyways,
yeah, it's well yeah, because they've essentially kind of have this sort of vulgar empiricist outlook of like, you know,
which speaking of empiricism, Max has had like quite a run-in with
oh,
SDL during the
whole
debate,
debate about
where
over.
it's just
I
like
was just about to bring up that point where he was trying to get Max to say like, is there like empirical evidence that a commodity has like a use value or whatever? He was trying to explain to him, but like that's not how that works.
I mean, yeah, these things should be like I told them over and over. It should be logically self-evident, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, like you can look at a commodity or whatever, and you can view. Marx wasn't really pulling this out of his head. There's
I mean, he was
that one quote.
critiquing political economy, but he read
Yeah,
a
exactly.
lot of people before him, and like it's like
Yeah,
it's kind of
exactly. It was a response to the obviously the Ricardans and Smith and um and obviously a rebuttal to the sort of Owen socialists and the Proudhonians, which you can easily tell.
Proudhon.
Proudhonian,
In French, c'est Proudhon.
French
Pierre
French
Joseph Proudhon. Here, I can
pieces of
say it.
shit.
No, so look. I mean, what do they want to say? No, no, that's not a good joke.
But yeah, it's just like yeah, and Marx's sort of theory was built on all these different elements, and or built in specifically critiquing in response to these different elements, and just
Well, he was critiquing the very
yeah,
categories on which you make empirical observations, as
yeah, exactly. Like
and then like which is like that
there's that Marx quote
that
where
is
he
sin.
talks about
That is
how
why that is why SDL freaked out at Max, because Max wasn't having any of that, because
yeah, yeah,
our boy is smart. He's
yeah. There
read
was
his shit, and he kind of
Thank you.
understood that. Yeah, there you go.
yeah, there is a specific Marx quote about this sort of like vulgar empiricist outlook or whatever, which like I again there are elements of empiricism which aren't like necessarily bad or whatever, but when you're specifically talking about fucking I don't know the value form, you can't like there's a Marx quote where he's like this is
Oh,
shit.
I can find it. I can
Yeah,
find it.
a child can understand.
It's phantom like, yeah. But
It is,
it's just
yeah.
like, and like okay, if I remember right, this is some Postone stuff. I remember it's a lecture, where he, if I remember the way he described it, it's like Marx's like theory of society is basically well, no, it's not the theory of society. Well, I guess it is, but like the thing is, you need to understand, like people just say like Marx is like a materialist, right? In a sense, that's
Mhm.
correct compared to others, but you need to understand that it's a different kind of materialism that what we think exactly. It's old, like
It's a new
it
materialism. Yeah.
well. There's the stuff with like Democritus and like oh fuck what. Oh god, I'm blanking out his name. The other one, the hedonist philosopher, the atomist, the
Oh,
Roman one.
the
No, not the Roman one. He was like Greek, I think.
Epicurus.
Epicurus, right? So
no clue.
it was like it's like the materialism that he had in mind is probably it's quite different from like what we think like colloquially of materialism now. And right. So I think the way Postone described it was basically Marx was trying to like do like reconcile idealism and materialism and use like society as like thing where what would be the word to that he used, like it gets reconciled within society, within the social, which is why there's like in Marx there's never just like simple like see uh like even like when people like talk colloquially about like material relations or the basic like it's almost like
Material
basic like
conditions.
material
Yeah.
conditions. I'm sorry, but those material conditions are not as material as you think. And you know what?
Yeah, because it's all very fluid
That's
or
a good
whatever.
thing. That's a good thing. You
Yeah.
need to be able to think and see beyond like the form of appearance of stuff. You know, you need to be able
Yeah.
to do some abstractions and see what's behind the things.
Yeah, I mean that was this sort of break with obviously Hegel, but also I'm gonna butcher his name, the materialist,
Feuerbach.
the Feuerbach. There you go. Thank you for pronouncing that for me. But that was his whole break with the German ideology. As much as people complain about it, it's good work. Shut up. Um, his break with those two, which was founding this. I mean, he says it himself. This new materialism. It's different, obviously, from these old conceptions of the sort of vulgar, people are clockwork Hobbesian type, materialism.
Which like isn't it's definitely well, oh god, this might get into like the epistemological break to humanism stuff, but like I don't think like you ever like get a sense
You don't get a
that
clean break.
no you never like get the sense like that's I guess that's a bit of what I mean, that for Marx it's never that kind of materialism he's talking about, really.
Hmm.
It's
What do you mean?
like
Like
in the sense
like
it's not
he
like
doesn't get into that new materialism, or like
no, I mean like the very just like everybody's like just like an automaton, like it's basically
yeah, the
it's like
Hobbesian type.
bourgeois
Yeah,
materialism, right? It's from like
yeah.
before the French Revolution, like during it, like
Yeah, I read a bit of
the conceptions of like materialism
With
were just
Francis
like,
Bacon and all.
well, it's not just that. There was like a couple also of like very like well, not exactly forgotten if you like, but like there's like some French materialism going on during that time, and I'm
I
sure
think
Marx was
I think Engels goes over this in
yeah
Socialism
yeah
Utopian and Scientific a little bit,
probably.
where he kind of he traces like material. I was just listening to this just as like it was one of those works that like I always should have like read or whatever, but I kind of skipped over. I was listening to it in my car with like audiobook or whatever, and yeah, he's kind of tracing materialism as it came up and how it kind of originated with England and all this different types of whatever and Smith and all that.
Hmm. Right.
Where were we?
Yeah. Oh god, we keep track, but like I mean, it's good honestly because I think like
It's fine. It's good chat.
no, it's good. I
Yeah,
mean, we're using the SDL stuff to just like we're just noticing things. See,
football. Yeah,
see, it's like SDL is a symptom. It's not like the disease. Disease is it's
it's a relation
it
between productive forces. Whatever.
yeah. No,
Yeah, that's
see, we're the real thing. We're gonna need to do an episode on this. We're gonna need to do like a theory of surpost value. We're gonna need to get to the bottom of what the fuck's going on with Twitter. See,
yeah. I mean, I think that's I don't know. That could be some like social analysis or shit. I don't know.
no,
That's
I mean
I don't I haven't.
I was kidding about that. I was kidding about that, but I mean, it would be a funny bit.
Damn, you got me thinking for a minute. I was like, I mean, there might
Oh,
be some writings about the internet with regards to
what I mean
So
is,
yeah,
what I mean is,
go ahead.
we should,
Anyways, let's move to the first section.
yeah, yeah. Okay. All right,
All right.
let's go.
So this is
So,
the fourth section. He's
I,
going over.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
really have much to say about it. It's just wrong because there is no one circuit of capital. I mean, to summarize, there are three circuits of capital: the circuit of commodity capital, money capital, and productive capital. So here he's just characterizing capital as just like one circuit, and the circuit is incomplete, by the way. That's the only thing I have to say, really. After this, he talks about the rate of profit to fall.
Oh, okay. That might be the fun thing because
Let's let you get to that one because I have a feeling you have some opinions on that.
he's a Bernsteinian, right? I'm fairly sure I remember that he got into
Oh
an
no,
argument
he specifically
with Luca.
with
Right?
Luca. His whole thing was that he kept claiming that like once again Bernstein is proven right or whatever. Yeah, he's like, oh, Rosa was wrong once again because the one book that everybody gets mad at her for, Accumulation of Capital, I think it is,
Yeah.
because it has some like
For good
I don't
reason,
know. I
to be
haven't,
Yeah,
honest.
for
I mean,
good.
she.
I haven't read it,
I mean,
so I can't make too many claims.
I think even Luca, it's like, I mean, even the people like Rosa Luxemburg know that she kind of messed up some.
To
Well,
some
not
extent,
basically.
yeah,
Like I think there was like, is it like volume 2 or volume 3 schemas that she messed up, and that really that like
it kind of threw her off. Yeah,
because I know that people read that book, like Keynesians picked up on it because they're like it's for their like under consumptionist stuff. So
yeah.
they picked up on what she said there because it is under consumptionist, and apparently, if I remember correctly, that has roots in Kautsky too.
Yeah, shit. I mean, I think almost everyone in that time period has some sort of indirect roots to Kautsky, whether we want to admit it or not.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
Which is a big problem. We should not resurrect Kautsky like how the fucking Cosmonaut magazine is doing.
well,
Yeah, I mean, the best parts of Kautsky, other than like maybe like Road to Power or whatever, were basically just we're it's Leninism. You know, the best parts or whatever came out of a rejection of the sort of bourgeois nationalism that Kautsky's Second International turned into.
yeah. Well, there's.
If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Anyways, for the rate of profit, I don't really have much to say because he just stole it from someone else. He stole it from an article. That's it, and then he provided empirical evidence.
What article?
Yeah.
By who? By who? I want to Google the author just for fun.
I won't be surprised if it's some Kleeman thing. I think the last bit is. I don't know. I just find it funny that, you know, after going, you know, this was written in October 27th, 2020. I don't know when Max had the debate. I don't know the time.
February
February
2021.
21.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a little. He obviously developed his opinion some, because in this document he basically just sort of spits out a chart which says like, "Oh yeah, look at that, rate of profit's falling." And
And then
do you
in
want
the end,
me?
he says, if the rate
Yeah,
of profit is true, therefore capitalism will collapse.
yeah. It's conclusions, or section 7 conclusions. If the ROP is genuinely falling, as it appears to be, then capitalism's years are limited.
Which
It's the funniest thing I read.
because like
it's a great end piece.
it's weird. Well, like there's like no words on like counter tendencies at all. Like nothing. There's like
No, I mean, there is one
Again,
quote by
that would
Rosa
require him
Luxemburg that
to read, you know, Heinrich's criticisms and Harvey's and Macovers and all of those different types of strains. Why would you do that when you can Google Kleeman falling rate of profit, grab the graph, throw it on the document, and say, "Wow!" Period. End document. Like, you don't need to
yeah, so that
engage
was
with
the
counter.
end of this really, really fucking miserable document,
that's the
which
end
is
of.
really weird.
So that's it. That was like it's just like it. Yeah, that definitely means that it was just like some points that he got in an argument on Twitter and then went
Oh yeah, no.
for it.
This,
So
this
obviously,
is all based around whatever argument he had on Twitter.
damn.
Yes, true, because like there is no like relation between these topics. Like you jump from commodities to profit to the rate of like what the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah, it's a mess.
This
It
is
clearly
why.
didn't come from somebody who actually read Capital, or if they did, it's just them sort of, you know, they opened 2 pages in, they look at contents. Maybe they ordered volume 1 and volume 3, right? All right, commodity, 2 factors. Okay, he's kind of says something about value and exchange. Okay. Chapter 3 or volume 3, falling rate of profit. Yeah, somebody told me about this on Twitter, you know. This is presuming he actually read it, which I think is
I don't think so.
too
He
generous.
didn't. He admitted he didn't. He didn't read the volume 3 or 2.
No, he didn't. I mean, I don't even think he read 1, to be honest. I think he kind of
I don't
opened
think
it
so.
on.
I mean, of course he didn't read 1, 2. I mean, of course.
He kind of. No, he opened Marxist.org. He kind of read like half the page and kind of gave up. Like
not even half the page. I don't know. It's just
maybe like a first paragraph.
Maybe.
Maybe like the first sentence. Maybe he kind of skims it. He kind of
He
looks
saw
over. Maybe he sees profit.
wealth of societies, commodities, etc., etc.
Yeah, exactly.
This looks fucking boring. I'm just gonna go read my like G store articles now. Oh, what's this?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Like
I'm going to come over over a graph.
Holy shit! Sanctions and Dunlap's in the call.
Oh fuck! Wait, this
Tim, it's
Do you guys want to hear about the Jews?
I heard. I mean, apparently he pulled up a study where, like, Ashkenazi Jews had like more memories or something. Like,
God,
I,
you guys watched the Sorry stream, right? Where
I
he did the
didn't.
YouTube.
What are your
reform
guys'
stream?
thoughts on the African continent? Oh my
Oh,
god.
that stream was so funny.
I did
Mostly,
not watch it.
he-
I refuse to watch it. Well, actually,
my favorite part, right, was, and I clipped it and shipped it on Twitter.
of course,
Plenty.
nice clip
but
chimp.
he pulls up. So the entire
Fan
format,
on? Yeah.
the entire format of this stream, right, is like him kind of going through his old messages, and like he'll pull it up on screen, and he's like, "So here's what I said."
He said that.
And then he like
fucking
reads
said
through it in a somber tone. He reads through it in like a sad tone. So like I'm not gonna read any of those because I don't want to get chased off Twitter. But but like the one that stuck out to me was he pulls up this one which is like a black nationalism is cancer or whatever, right? And he reads it out with his like with their like sobbing voice or whatever.
Oh, really?
and they go, I've been wanting to read more about black nationalism, and he pulls up this copy of Wretched of the Earth.
You should have pulled up.
Which, first of all, not what Wretched of the Earth is about.
Definitely not.
It's a book about decolonization. I said that wrong, whatever. But it's a book about decol, and he's like, it's very clear that he just sort of bought a book by a black Marxist and was like, "See, guys, I'm not racist. I have the book."
Yeah, like, and I don't know, like, even if it was like genuine or like even if you're granted he literally like had it like it on his shelf already, like.
No, you want to know why? Because he did the ultimate white person thing. The exact same thing I did, which is he ordered Wretched of the Earth and didn't fucking read it. It's sitting on my shelf behind me.
Alright. Yes,
Need to get around. I hate that I'm in the same fucking. As soon as I tear through Capital, I'm gonna get to that book because I don't want to be even on the same league as him.
No, but actually, that reminds me of a post SDL did a bit before this, where I don't know, he was like reading something else, and he was I think it was because like, I don't remember what it was, but it was basically like, why would like we need to like rethink class or like proles because like they don't have like stakes, like they're not like as impoverished or like have stakes in just like a violent revolution or just like very like big upheaval anymore, like Bernstein's shit, like evolutionist type shit. And then
evolution.
I distinctly remember and he was like citing the whatever he was like having a screen cap of on his tweet was basically like, I think it said like 90% of people are like, no, wait, no, that wasn't him. That wasn't the quote. That was someone else quoting it. That was Young Newcon quoting SDL and being like, well, of course they don't like they don't feel like they don't have like the same like drive or just revolutionary spirit anymore because like depending on like the metrics like that you use, like you could like at least like 70 or 80% of like people in the US have some form of capital in some way. Which just to say that like it feels that, how to say this, well, I think what's really lacking in like all that whole milieu is their conception of class, right? And just like how that can like really fuck with your ability to do like anything like political, and how like really like
Mhm.
twisted like the US is in that regard.
Yeah.
Because that like goes into the whole like PMC stuff, I guess. But the thing is, like, the PMC stuff is like kind of
I
incoherent.
mean,
It's very like it's very
PMC is a rebranded form of labor aristocracy
kind
to an
of.
extent.
But the thing is,
It's a much less refined topic, but it sort of gets at that same sort of hint of like, well, these people are made the upper class or whatever, despite being whatever. But like, it's instead of being on an international scale, it's on a purely national scale, which is why its sort of fluctuations are kind of it's much less consistent than an analysis of like a labor aristocracy or whatever.
well, the thing is, there's like multiple people who like have their own PMC thesis. But the thing is, once you dig down, a lot of the time you just find out that these people are like saying they're Marxist, but their whole conception of class isn't Marxist at
Yeah,
all.
it's money.
Or like
It's
they're trying to like overlay it with like Marx, but it's not really it's not like working at all.
no,
And
it's
I
somebody
just
in the chat
remembered a
asked.
little trivia that I find funny. You know how in the Communist Manifesto, Marx says that the history of all hitherto existing societies is one of class struggle?
Mhm.
Well, he in Capital, when he gets to write about class, it's the last chapter and he never
yeah,
finishes it.
he never
The
finishes.
manuscript breaks off.
Yeah, it breaks off.
Saddest sentence in existence.
Well, there was so
It-
many. There were so many. Like how many series of books he wants to do? He was like, there was like, it's not
God.
just a trilogy. It was gonna be like,
There was that one Twitter
was-
post or whatever, which was
yeah.
like, which made
He had.
hypothetical penguin covers of all like 6 volumes.
It wasn't
yeah.
I
just
think there are going to be only 4 though.
Yeah, I think there was going to be 4, but
it was gonna be on the
was it
state, but like there was like
series
one.
of surplus value that was supposed to be 4, wasn't it? Or I don't know.
No, not really. It was there was supposed to be
Yeah,
like,
yeah, about the history of political economy and like how
I
people started conceiving of it.
yeah, I was going to say like I was less keyed in on theories of surplus value originally, but it immediately appealed to me as soon as I realized it's essentially a book where Marx runs through just the almost entire history of political economy and
oh,
just going,
everything he's
all right,
read.
you're
Everything he's
fucking
read.
dumb, you're stupid. Next, all right, yeah.
Well, I don't think he says everybody's dumb, but he definitely.
Okay, well, yeah, obviously,
Yeah, obviously he gets
critique of political economy, yeah, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
so
think
yeah,
the Capital was gonna be, there's gonna be like a book on the state. There's gonna be a book on the world market. Like
yeah.
but
Yeah, that was the original plan, but like he changed
yeah,
the plan because he realized that he cannot finish all of this in his
yeah.
lifetime.
Let's be real though. If we gave Marx 100 more years on the planet,
He wouldn't have
I'm
gone
fairly
through.
sure
He wouldn't have
no, he would have
finished.
revised Capital Volume 1 more, and he would have put in like Section
too.
2 after Section 3, or some stupid shit. Like
Yeah.
what's the thing all the like autonomists love to quote about him, like rewriting the book because of the class struggle, where in reality he just adds like 10 more pages to the working day chapter or whatever. It would just be plenty of shit like that.
Autonomists like to talk about like how Marx was rewriting Capital due to the struggles of the working day. Meanwhile, most of his time was dedicated to like Section 3, and and he only added like 1 chapter for the working day.
Yeah, and the working day is famously one of the most bloated chapters in that book.
Yeah.
True, it's boring.
Yeah, because it essentially, I think it's important overall just to sort of get a sense of, where Marx was at this time, the general conditions of the working class. But at the same time, it is sort of Marx kind of rewriting what Engels wrote in Conditions of the Working Class of
Yeah.
England or whatever, except in, this like
yeah.
miniature form.
He does have like a few good lines where he just like, it's very noticeable that like the time has a very important like dimension going on.
Yeah.
Because like of how like oh god, what's a good word? Like how employers would just like try to cut down like for every minute and into breaks or
Yeah.
whatever, and would just like try to steal time from their employees, or just that kind of stuff, because that's the more time you can get out of your employees,
Oh yeah. I mean, that's basic. That sort of progression of capitalism. That sort of idea just applied to the working day or
Anyways,
whatever.
I think we should sum up the episode now, no?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. That's fair.
How
Yeah, okay.
how do we sum up this up?
SDL is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
get
I mean,
that.
I feel like the guy's a fuck or the person is just a fucking idiot. I mean, I don't really like
Is
Yeah.
like
I think he's like literally all three. He's falsifier, denier, and modernizer. And
what about revisionist?
And a fucking idiot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's kind of
It was
wild.
a really
Though.
nice chat today. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah. So, well, it's actually kind of funny. Like, do we think SDL's going to remain a character at all? I mean, I think
Oh yeah, he's back already.
which is
Oh
like,
yeah, he's back. He's tweeting again.
he's
Oh,
tweeting.
so he did something which I predicted or whatever, which was that he didn't quite do it in his apology, but his first tweet back, or their first tweet. God damn it! I keep clicking on the parody accounts as I try to go to his SDL's
Oh my
account.
god.
I love the fucking
Yeah, I know which account you're talking about. Tweeting out like.
Okay, fine. I actually found his real account. But he did something that I sort of predicted, which is other than just retweeting a bunch of stupid like James Medlock bullshit or whatever. His first tweet back is making a meme about fucking tankies.
Of course.
It's some like Nicholas Fuentes like, oh look, see North Korean stands, aren't those wacky? Ha ha ha. It's just trying to like it's them trying to sort of bat to their audience of like, look at these hysterical tankies or whatever, which is
funny
okay.
because like the whole document thing started off like, am I not wrong? But I think it started out on like kind of left comish Twitter or something.
Left
like,
comish Twitter.
Yeah.
The first person I know who tweeted about it was Ray, who fucking in
Ray?
between doing like left Hindutava bits or whatever, he posted up like he quote tweeted SDL's thread where he's in the chat. Shout out Ray. He posted about how look at all this research I do. And it was really funny because it was this thread where he was basically, I don't have the tweets anymore, but it was this thread where he was trying to like, more leftists need to read empirical data. And he links this like document of like, all of these, studies that he accumulated, and it's all this just weird racist shit about like dick sizes and like weird Jewish conspiracies about Jewish people. I mean, just like all these different things. And I think he was the first one who quote tweeted it. I think I made one which blew up. Lena was the one who did the most work, I think, because she
I did the one about dick sizes. I thought that
yeah.
Of course you would, Max, huh?
Everyone was like pulling out their favorite
the
parts.
Hegelians
Lena was the one. She at Lena posting, she kind of laid out all of the different fucking layers of like, his weird black nationalism takes and his like weird takes about
Iraq,
the Iraq war.
Yeah, which is like
the fucking like, oh well, the sanctions didn't kill that many. It's just like, which I guess, God, it's such stupid shit. It's the most Twitter guy thing imaginable to be like digging up like, well, when you consider the studies about this sanctioned deaths, it wasn't that bad. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lena posted that along with like some like leaked DMs somebody sent to her, and then it spiraled from there.
It spiraled really fast.
Really quickly.
No, but like, so there was like, okay, there was document stuff, and then like, there was like apparently
there's document
SDL engaging
Lena
in like
the DMs sent to her.
Yeah, but SDL like engaged like in like
weird
race play with like a Jewish trans woman, and then like
and then the friend came out and was like,
to be fair, that was like,
actually I was just doing a bit, like
yeah, which actually
that was so weird.
I think it was for some reason.
I don't know. I
think
feel like it's weird to be quote unquote friends with somebody and then send
yeah.
fake DMs of them saying like weird shit. I don't know. It's weird. But even then, even if
Anyways, guys,
we're
this drama was really old enough, and
Yeah.
there is nothing really to be said about it.
Yeah,
yeah, we're
it's
just going over old shit at this
yeah,
point.
it's just like it feels like it
It's
was
just
like
very
a month.
funny.
It feels like it was a month ago. It's weird. It's really weird.
There was a point where I think I got my like second COVID shot or whatever, and so I was basically just melting down. Like I was like running a high fever and shit. And I just look on my feed and there's all this different shit about like SDL, like fucking I
No
felt like I
goodness.
was in hell. Just like 4 days straight, just like SDL posting about how like
Oh, could you
like
say we're in the Inferno, like in Marx's Inferno?
it all comes back
This
to
was
this book.
SDL's Inferno.
This
Yeah.
SDL's in front. It started at the. I can get the fucking. I'll make a parallel diagram to the one I posted on Twitter, where it's the upside down triangle. Except at the very top, it's SDL's research doc, and at the very bottom, it's like SDL is like a transphobe, sex pest chaser monster. Like,
His parents are in the CIA.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, to wrap up, this was a really good episode. I think it's an
Mhm.
excellent first episode. What do you guys think about this
Yeah,
episode?
this was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, when I think it was Constance who first put the idea together.
Yeah, because I saw the stream, like Lena and like
Yeah,
whatever, and like
yeah, Max.
I was like
Get,
drunk and watching this, and I was like, dude, like if I wasn't there, I would just like be making so much shit happen. I feel like, but I mean that's probably
yeah, it sort of spawned from that or whatever, and it just this sort of idea that like whenever we want to do some like stupid chat about
Constance
like,
actually
Twitter
said this
shit.
like he said it jokingly, and then I said, well, actually, a podcast with you and me and Matiba would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of spiraled from there. I think like the idea I kind of keep bringing up is just like
The
kind
rotation
of a
stuff.
fluctuating cast.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
Well, there's a thing, I've been thinking about this, like, because there's like the podcast, but like sometimes you could just like, especially like me right now, like, I don't know when I'm gonna get like a new job. I mean, maybe quite soon or maybe not. What I can do is just like assemble like kind of like a rotation crew to just like, where I could just like turn on the stream and then like we just shoot the shit with like about anybody else. And then we have our own
Yeah.
podcast, which is the same, like it's more like we have an actual topic, and then like
I mean, yeah, and
there's that
that's
stuff.
the thing. I mean, there's a bunch of different. I mean, literally
Yeah,
every
we could
day
we could
there's some
literally
new stupid shit on left Twitter.
Oh yeah, but we could also just do
Like-
like a we could literally just do like Marxist blood sport. Imagine if you just I mean imagine if we dragged like two humanists and like two like Althusserians, and then we just like
Max, let's go.
like we could just definitely yeah.
It will honestly end with me sending them a death threat.
Yeah, I feel like that would that would end up too.
Yeah,
it would just be people fucking screaming Raya and Althuse quotes at each other for the entire thing. There's no middle ground there.
yeah, but I mean,
or if there is,
it
it's
would be
very funny.
that could be
Yeah.
that could be really fun though.
Anyways, that was a good episode. Goodbye,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye. And
See y'all.
cut.